Here's one that happened much more recently, a couple years ago, when I was staying with my father in the Ozark Mountains in Arkansas taking care of him because he got COVID and was a lifetime smoker, so he couldn't even wash himself for a while, and I had to take care of everything. Be me. 21 years old. Would wake up in the middle of the night and couldn't sleep. Insomnia is a haluva thing. Decide to drive around and listen to some music. I did this often. Every time I would go driving, I would pick a back road deep in the woods I haven't driven down yet and see where it went, where it lead to act. It's gotta be like 2 a.m. or something. After about 15 min down this back road I notice a headlight in the distance. A single headlight, like motorcycle or something. Turn my brights off and wait for them to pass. Mind wanders, still driving and listening to an album from high school. Notice something is wrong. Turn the music down and try to figure out what's making my instincts go off. Realize. The light is still in front of me. Think that's really weird, I could have sworn it was a headlight. Maybe it's someone's porch light out here? No, it can't be, the road's been twisting and turning. Anyone who's driven in the Ozark Mountains knows what I'm talking about, those are some fucking breakneck turns. Decide to speed up, floor it and see if I can catch up to it. It maintains its distance, like it sped up when I did. Hit my brakes and come to a stop, turn the car off and open the door, trying to hear some sort of motor or engine that would tell me it's an ATV or something. Hear nothing. Get back in my car, decide to turn around, starting to get creeped out. When I turn around, it takes about 5 min. Until I see it. The fucking light again, this time the opposite direction. Look at my rear view, it's not there anymore. Starting to get really spooked now, get nervous because the road is shitty, and I'm starting to feel really tired now. Next part is a blur. I remember the music. I was listening to. Toxicity by Soda is playing. Was humming it to keep calm. Next thing I know I open my eyes. It's fucking daytime. Freak out, look around and I'm in the middle of nowhere, don't recognize the road anymore. Look at my phone. 4% battery. It's 9 a.m. Fucking 9. I try and start the car, it's not starting. Not even turning the engine over, the battery is dead. Call my father, had like 1 bar, thank God. He's super fucking pissed, asking where I am, he was worried act. Tell him I'm not exactly sure. What, where the fuck are you, where did you go? I'm at a loss for words, it's like a blinked and it's daytime. I decide to walk down the road until I find an old house off the side of the road. Have no other choice, walk up and knock on the door. Some old woman answers the door. Can I help you, young man? Yeah, this might sound really weird, but what road is this? I'm a bit lost. Her face expression changes. Looks me up and down. It's road, how? Did you get out here, if you don't mind me asking? I'm not exactly sure myself, I'm sorry, I know this is weird. She laughs and waves her hand. It's quite alright, hon, it happens from time to time here, I'm just glad you turned. I ask her what she means by that. Either she didn't hear me, or decided to pretend that she didn't hear me. Invites me in, and says I can use her phone, if I need to. Call my father, tell him what road I'm on. What, why the fuck are you all the way out there and on? He sends my stepbrother out to pick me up with a trailer, to bring the car back. Thank the old lady, we load the car up, not only had to jump it, but apparently it was out of gas too, so we had to siphon out of the truck's gas tank and put enough into my car to get it to drive up the ramp onto the trailer. Realize on the way back I managed to drive 4 hours past my house and almost into Missouri. Get home, look up lights in the Ozark Mountains. Find shit about something called the spook light. Pretty much fits exactly what I saw. It happens around the Ozark Mountains, has for decades. Figures. Decide to read about it more, different descriptions. Find a wiki-related article. Will-o'-the-wisp. The fuck is this? In folklore, a will-o'-the-wisp, Will-o'-wisp or Ignis fatuus, is an atmospheric ghost light seen by travelers at night, especially over bogs, swamps or marshes. The phenomenon is known in English folk belief, English folklore and much of European folklore by a variety of names, including jack-o'-lantern, friar's lantern, hinkapink and hobby lantern, and is said to mislead travelers by resembling a flickering lamp or lantern. In urban legends, folklore and superstition, Will-o'-the-wisp are typically attributed to ghosts, fairies or elemental spirits. Son of a bitch. So yeah, don't go following random lights in the woods in the middle of the night. Be me. As a kid I had sleep paralysis, but it went away when I grew up, somewhere after puberty. Typical sleep paralysis, see shadow men, Sometimes can control astral voyage type things. When they stopped I thought they were just dreams. Grandmother grew up in a farm. People always said she was some sort of witch. She can always know when someone will die. Weird stuff like that. Years pass and happily married. Move into apartment building complex. People in the other apartments are generally nice, young couples and an old couple. Old couple starts struggling. Hear yells in the middle of the night. Couple of times old woman was running naked in the complex. My mother-in-law moves in to help us with the baby. She makes friends with the old couple. The woman had been diagnosed with a tumor in her head. Tells my mother-in-law that the building was cursed. Tells her that it wants to destroy everyone who is living there. Old woman dies and senior man moves out. Another old lady moves into the apartment. Start noticing that the young couples are divorcing and leaving the apartment. New neighbors. Never speak with them. New old lady visits my mill. They become friends. She tells her that sometimes an old lady talks to her, tells her that the building is cursed. New old lady says she fears nothing because Christ is by her side. Lose my job, only get shit-paying jobs, but continue to contribute. My mother-in-law falls ill. Pancreatic cancer. The stress just fucks up our marriage. She lives the rest of her disease in the guest room. Our dog never leaves her side. She is taken into hospital where she dies. After her death we start sleeping in different rooms. I sleep in guest room. Can't sleep well, have nightmares every night. Dreams are shadows, start dreaming of shadow people. Am I having sleep paralyses again? Dream of some sort of hog-like monster. Looks at me and laughs, blood out of his mouth. Tell my then wife of dream. Two halves. She freaks out. Tells me Christian lady told about hog-like monster dreams to my mother-in-law. Get priest to bless apartment. Dream about hog monster laughing at me. Tell my grandmother. She tells me I probably have some of her blood in me. Tells me it's probably some Nahual, spirits tied to the land, older than Christianity, older than Judaism, creatures that lived in the American continent before men came. There is no way to reduce its anger. Before the development of apartments and everything, there had been a hill with one of the oldest forests in the country. Can't really give a shit, my marriage is falling apart. Bitter divorce. Eventually walk away from everything. Ex got the apartment, cars, savings accounts. Living in my parents' home. Relationship gets better with ex. Tells me Christian lady died from cancer. Ex tells me she got diagnosed with tumor in gallbladder. Move back to the apartment to help take care of our daughter. Shadow dreams return. Hog-like creature laughing at me. Ex is okay, tumor was benign. Years pass. Ex and daughter falls sick with respiratory illness. Go to apartment. She says that the apartment filled with black mold. Ex moves out of apartment and wants to sell it. Asks me to help clean it out. Go to apartment, roof is filled with black mold. Wear protective gear, bleach the fuck out of the roof. Black mold gone. Real estate woman calls me to tell me the mold came back in the guest room. Enter guest room. Black mold looks like the fire of the hog-like monster. All this fucking land in the American was walked by things older than the first men. All these things were killed off by the Native American populations. The Maya displayed the world as having different colors. North was black because sunshine never comes from the north. The guest room faces northward. Dream a reptilian captured me. It was a female. Pulled out my dick, I licked the scaly pussy. Dream a fairy is tormenting me. Go lucid. She realizes I'm lucid and tries to flee through portal. Grab that birch by her hips, fuck her midair. Blow my load and she disappears. Doesn't matter, had sex. Be me dreaming again. Ninja attacks. It was a magic ninja. Secure a hold, pull off mask and it's my Chinese boss. Can you guess what happens next? It involves rape. I am number one win a kinda guy. Be me dreamin'. Grubby but thick forest spirit girl helps me to my destination. I've been lucid dreaming the whole time. Look at her. She knows, runs off in the woods. Not-o-day.exe. Catch the gnome girl, she's all dirty, im revved up now. Kinda uncomfortably tight. Win was had. I showered immediately in waking. Once again, I have fallen asleep. Dream involves going to my dad's house. Wave to Milfy late 20s neighbor. Pause. My dad doesn't have a Milfy, stacked late 20s neighbor. Let dream family exist, or whatever, go to Milf's house. She's waiting face down, ass up on a yoga mat. Soft brown skin, nice hips. Suspicious emoji. These are familiar hips. Put it in then flip that bitch over. Can't see face clearly. That fucking fiery is back. Guess it's not rape anymore, Winrer. It's a me, Dreamio. This time I was dreaming the chickens captured me. I escaped because it's my dream, damn it. Ski down the mountain to escape like that James Bond movie. A girl attacks me jumping from her skis. We crash in an ice cave and fight. Both remove masks and post up. TFW, it's a girl version of me. Sneaky chickens made a sexy female clone of me. Lose and she pins, kisses me all sloppy and needy like. Success.jpg. Then she tied me down and raped me. Success.jpg. TFW, my own dream pussy is some of the best I ever had. There's a lesson to be learned here, but I'm not sure what it is. NOW. When I'm lucid they either run astral project away ASAP or just get naked and fuck me, no fun. Anymore. That's an insane story, thanks for sharing, Anon. I made a thread around a year ago now that was similar to this one, talking about Jacques' theory about fae fairies, ghosts, cryptids, and AEs all being the same thing, only because I have my own story that sparked my interest in this shit. Be me. Live with mom and my sister, we're super poor. I'm young, like 5. My sister is 7 or 8. Mom meets stepfather, he's retired from the railroad and has a good amount of money. Moves us out to the plot of land he bought in our town deep in the woods, Shawnee Forest in Illinois. He hires a local labor union to build our house, most if not all of them are from the area. Me and my sister are playing in what will be our backyard, jumping in and out of the holes in the dirt caused by the tractors, climbing trees, ect. All of a sudden I get a cold chill up my spine. For whatever reason I look over my shoulder and see 2 kids around our age walking in the woods behind our house. Tell my sister that we should go ask if they want to play. She looks up and furrows her brow, frowns. Anon, I don't think that's a good idea. Say whatever and run off into the woods after the kids. They never look back, so I don't get a good look at their face, but they start running away from me. I start laughing, think it's some sort of game. Keep running, jumping over logs, dodging trees ect. Eventually hear my mother call for me, so I turn and look at the direction she called me from. That's not the direction of the house. Is it? Look back at the direction of the kids, and they're gone too. Decide to walk back to the house, or the direction I thought was back to the house. Hear mom call for me again, this time it's behind me. Start to get scared. Start calling for my mom, my sister, ect. I feel dizzy and cold. It's getting dark now, and I'm lost. Sit on a tree stump and start to cry. Eventually some older guy finds me. It's one of the union laborers that were working on my house. Boy, what in the hell are you doing all the way out here by yourself? He takes his jacket off and drapes it over me. Tells me to follow him so he can take me home. I tell him about how I just wanted to play with some kids in the woods, wiping the tears out of my eyes. He turns to me and grabs my shoulders. Do not follow any damn kids in these woods, ya hear me? Say okay, and that I'm sorry ect. As we're walking back I realize I don't recognize anything we're walking past. We should have reached the house by now, right? Ask him how much further we have to go. On the account of your ass being all the way out here, I'd say another 30 minutes. What, we've already been walking for what feels like forever. Eventually I start to recognize things, like creek beds and certain trees with the bark rubbed off by deer sharpening their antlers. We make it back and mom runs up to me and hugs me. Tells me to never do that again, ect. Overhear my stepfather talking with the guy who found me. He was at least 6 miles back in the woods. I have no clue how he managed to get all the way back there. Find out my sister told my parents I went off to go play with some kids in the woods. Also learned that we have no neighbors, there isn't a person that lives near us in over 20 miles. There shouldn't be any kids out here except us. I'm not creeped out, more angry that my mother didn't believe me and that my sister pretends she didn't see anyone, even though she obviously did. I don't know if it's because I was young and didn't understand the gravity of it all, but it pissed me off more than anything. TLDR, I think some fey assholes tried luring me in the woods and I got lost. I have more stories if anyone is interested. Be me. Be 21. Test lasers for a living, doing well. Recently broken up with slutbag GF after 2 years. Hell froze over IDK. Gave me an excuse to work out and get in great shape. Finish work on Friday. Go to dinner at my family's sandwich shop in the town we live in. 20 YOQT 3.14 Julia named Julia works the front counter. After 3 years of being too pussy to make a move and not wanting to make things awkward. Get into conversation with Julia and customer about weekend plans. Customer is going to theme park. Gay.png Julia turns to me and asks me what I'm doing for the weekend. Spaghetti falls out of pockets. Bush did harem. Finally after 15 seconds tell her that I'm gonna be hanging out at home. Julia says come to my beach house tomorrow, I'll be there with some of my family. Had to play it cool. Prego sauce dripping from pockets already. Being alpha AF say that I'll come, but only if it's a good time. Julia smiles and promises it will. Hype.png. Still not sure if pity. Invite or serious one. Next morning. Whack up to a text from Julia saying hey Anon, you coming tonight? I've got a free room for you. Fuckies. Text back saying that I'm definitely coming and that I'll bring some liquor. Day flashes by. Finally 6 p.m. Ask Julia for address. Get address, 201 Dat Boy Avenue. 2-hour drive. Well worth it for QT Julia. Get there after picking up drinks. Knock on door. Heart pounding. Julia answers wearing sundress. Like the fag I am my jaw drops. Dress hugs her tiny 5'1" frame beautifully. Roll up my tongue and say hello. Julia invites me inside. House seems quiet and empty. I ask where everyone is. They come down tomorrow she says sweetly. Gonna murder thepicy.jpg. Somewhere in the distance steel beams are melting. Julia tells me to follow her to put my stuff away. Beautiful ass jiggles in sundress as I walk behind her. Dick stands at attention. It's not a boulder it's a rock.png. Follow her into her room. Much later. Be me, 20. Working contract security, graveyard shift. Live off on my own at this point in a not-so-great neighborhood. Bad enough that I kept my Mosin loaded and propped against a door frame. No handgun because 20. Driving to work. Stop at stoplight. A white woman in a black hoodie runs up and tries to open passenger side door. Lay on the horn and floor it through the red light, no other cars were around anyways. That's how I learned to roll through red lights and also tangentially how I came to own a fucking High Point CF 380. It was the first handgun I could find through private transfer and it lived in my glove box until I was old enough to walk into a store and buy a proper handgun. As an aside, that winter in the same area I found a dead homeless guy on the side of the road. I was about to pull over and then noticed the car behind me happened to be a cop, so I figured he could deal with it. This is one that still really bothers me when I think about how fucking dumb I was, be me, still 20. On my way to graveyard shift again. Stop at gas station for an energy drink. Get back in car. Suddenly a knock on the driver's side window. Scares the shit out of me. There's a different white woman in a black hoodie. Crack the window. She asks if I have a cig she can bum. Until very recently, I had been a smoker, and so on reflex I said oh, yeah one sec. Turn, pop open glove box. I vividly remember that I saw some sort of movement in the passenger side window, but I thought at the time that it was just my reflection. Brush the good old High Point out of the way looking for cigs. Remember that I quit and don't have any in there for once. Turn back, the woman is gone. That's weird but with stranger things have happened. Drive to work. As I pull into the parking lot I notice that the passenger's side mirror is folded in. Definitely wasn't like that earlier in the drive, I used it when I switched to the right lane so I could pull into that gas station. Here's one that happened recently, be me 3 years ago. Working at a gas station in a place that can't be even called a small town. Live in a complete shithole with my grandmother. Haven't finished high school because it was an hour trip by bus and didn't feel like it. No escape. Working overnight third shift inside the convenience part. Haven't seen anyone in a few hours. Noticed that I can't see out the window anymore, only seeing my reflection. The pumps are even visible, lights aren't on outside. Power's fine inside, though so not an outage, go outside to investigate. As I start towards the door get a strong flight response. Realize I can barely see some movement outside in the dark. Look a little closer. It's a man-shaped figure shaking or trembling. I beg of you and your family. He comes back to you. I enter through his hair, and he said he will. I dive in the morning. He falls through the night. Never forgotten but I can see you. Please don't forget. He We'll see you at the next one. Boundary between the two of us, like the rest of your days, are going to be there for you, and you're running into the glass. I never forget him. It tears me to get the start of the day, and I will be there in a way to find you. Never forget I find you. Never forget his prime is to find you. And the way, that third one is a found it in the back of your head. Just remembered a story from my childhood. Anyone got thoughts on this? Be me, 10 or 11 or so, just before puberty. Mom has always complained that she experiences pain after talking on a phone. One day go to China. Hate it. The worst part is, every morning, she and my grandma want to get up early to go to visit this man. He lives near the Great Wall, so every day we're stuck in hours of traffic because of all the tourists. Go to some rundown commercial building with a bunch of offices. It looks dirty and unsafe. Down the stairs to this empty white room with a bed and some chairs to see this man. He claims he's a doctor. Complains about other doctors, saying that they just don't understand him. Claims he has some method of healing and that he's tried to teach it to students, but nobody but him can do it. Every day we go there so he can massage my mother. Looks like he's beating her. Mom brings up that I have a rare eye problem and tells him to touch me too. Vaguely remember him rubbing my back and my temples. He says I have special bones and that he's only ever met one other person with bones like mine. Says it means I'm special in some positive way and raves about it for a long time. Refuses to elaborate. Sometimes he gives us tomatoes from the mountains. Every day we have to go see this guy. Mom no longer has issues with talking on the phone and we go back home. My eye problem gets steadily worse over the years. What is this? I have no idea where it is or what he's called since I can't read Chinese, so none of the signs meant anything. Is this a common thing? Be me. Hanging with new friend from school. It's winter break and we're doing an all-nighter. Up in my room. I'm chilling on my laptop and he's on his. I'm browsing B as he plays WoW. Friend says he has to use the bathroom. It's downstairs and to the left past the Christmas tree. Got a new surf rod that's just posted up down there on the tree. He goes downstairs. I come across a sweet porn dump commencing. Turbopubertinged. Friend comes sprinting through my door. WTF. I didn't even hear him come up the steps. My cock is still in my hand. Brain goes autistic. Holy shit, dude, you're quiet as a ninja as I'm putting my slappy stick away. He freaks for a split second. Then tells me he saw my fishing rod reeling by itself. Find out years later he was a compulsive liar. Sorry Anon, that's all I got for you.